30th of August, Rabbi Furst, Pierke Avos burial.
Someone used Mayor's computer and her name keeps popping up, a relative or something. So he has to keep changing it.
Okay. That's okay.
So it's a little private joke between me and the Kohen, because I'm a lady. I have to make the Kohen happy. You know, we have to make him laugh. It's part of our job.
The sheet we got sent out, which year is that for?
That'll be for today's share. That'll be for today's share.
Okay, even though it says chauffeur on it.
Right, exactly.
Okay,
I think maybe we should spend the next week trying to concentrate a little bit more on Rosh Hashanah, getting closer and closer.
okay, very good. No problem.
Good. Okay, good morning. This is Rabbi Shlomo Furst here, Yeshiva Tamanafsi here in Yerushalayim, care of Zoom. This is our first share in the morning. We're learning now, as I said, a little bit preparation for Rosh Hashanah. This, what you have in front of you on your screen or on a hard copy, if you printed it out, is from the Shukei Chemed, that's Rav Zilberstein Shlita. And he has a very foundational, very Yesodis question in terms of mitzvah Tekiyah Shofar. So let's take a look the question that was put to him and how he sought to answer the question in Halakha L'Maisa. Who would like to read?
I'll take a crack at it.
Okay.
Chashuki Hamad Rosh Hashanah Daf Lamed Dalid Amud Beis.
Right. So this is from the Sefer of Rav Zilberstein, and he was the son-in-law. He is the son-in-law of Rabbi Eliashiv Zatzal, and he has a series of many different sfarim, and one of them is on Shas, where he deals with various different questions of halacha l'maisa based on the points that are mentioned in the Gemara, which are relevant to those questions in halacha. So here he has a question that was put to him, and let's see what the question is, and we'll see how he answers it.
Ha'im Yishma Bracha Gimel Pa'amim Tasrat.
Right.
So a mother heard
If
well Ha'im and if he heard
this is future. If there is to hear the bracha and 3 times tashrat.
Okay.
If there is a choice between hearing the bracha on the shofar and the 3 times tashrat, or
Yishma Lamed Kolos below bracha, or to hear 30 blasts without a blessing.
So that's the question, right? He has a choice. We'll see you will see the exact question, the situation that developed in the next line. But the question is basically, what is the proper halacha? If a person has a chance to listen to the brachas on the shofar and then 3 times tashrat, or he can listen to 30 kailos, meaning tashrat 3 times, tashat 3 times, and tarat 3 times, but without the bracha. What should he do? So take a look how
the
question.
first one was 3 times, which was nine blasts, and the second one is 30 blasts.
Right.
Right? Okay.
Well,
She'ela Rofa Hamimhar Lenitoach Chirom
Chirum.
Chirum. They asked a doctor.
No, a doctor was asking.
Question?
Yeah.
Okay. And what is Mamhar?
He was hurrying, right, to do a emergency operation. So you have a surgeon, it's Rosh Hashanah, and there's a surgeon who's hurrying, he needs to do an emergency operation.
Oh, and he only has a certain amount of minutes?
That's right.
Uh-huh. Ve'eno yodea kama zaman yishcha b'chedar nikoach. And he doesn't know how much time there is in the emergency room.
And he doesn't know how much time he's going to be in the emergency room. I mean, it's an emergency operation. Obviously, it wasn't planned, and so he has no idea of what the operation is going to actually be involved and how long it may take. And so he's rushing into the operating room, and he only has a moment or two before he starts the operation, and he may be involved with it for quite a long time. And so you'll see what the question is as well.
So in other words, when he gets done, it may be too late to hear the shofar.
Right, or maybe no one's going to be around. After all, he's probably in a hospital, and there are probably not too many people around in the hospital that know how to blow shofar.
Wouldn't he be
Right.
potter of it all? Wouldn't he be potter of it altogether?
Yeah, if he has no time, he's putter. Obviously, because the fushes, if it's not possible that anybody else can do the operation, so it's a shy question of pekuach nefashis, and obviously he's putter from kol Torah kula to save somebody's life, right? So, but evidently he has these few moments, right? He's got it for a few moments, right? Like let's say that they're not ready for him yet. They're still doing the anesthesia or whatever. They're still getting the patient ready for the surgery. The surgery is not for whatever it's going to be, right? And so the prep, and so therefore you don't need him now yet. So he has a few moments, but it's going to be any moment he'll be called in to do the surgery.
Okay. Good.
V'ad she mis konenim lenitoach. Until he's ready for the emergency.
Yeah, well, until the appointed time for the operation.
Yesh lo zman mugval. He has time. What's mugval?
A limited time.
Limited.
Right. So they tell him be ready in a minute and a half. Right.
Shabo yachol lishmoa mi baal tokia bracha v'gam tasras tisrat tashrat o lishmoa mi baal tokia achar lamed kolos. So he's able to hear from the shofar blower a blessing, and also the this is three blasts.
The 3 sets of tashrat, 3 sets of tashrat.
Right.
It doesn't say three. It says gam tashrat.
Yeah, well, that's known as the set of tashrat. The set of tashrat. which is,
Oh,
which
it's
is,
set. Okay, so that's 9 blasts again.
right.
Or to hear the shofar blower after 30 blasts. And then it just says tasrat tirat
Tashat, tarat, tashat, tashrat.
tashrat.
Yeah, I'm not sure why it's put it in this order, because usually you do Tashrat first, then Tashat, and then Tarat. I'm not why it's put in this order,
Oh,
right?
because he's hearing the end of the first sets and the beginning of the Mu'umad. Okay, he
Well,
doesn't hear the brachis. He comes in after the Baal Tokeh has started to blow, but he gets to hear 30 between the Miyoshev and the Mu'umad. He hears 30. He hears 30 blasts.
yeah. Um, um, I'm not
So
sure.
that seems weird because that gap is a long time because even if you do like Minox Far, you have to wait till they start the Shemona Esrei before you get to hear the Tashrat part of it.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking this was being in a congregational setting. I thought he was still in a setting by himself. I'm not sure, and I'm not
Then
sure.
why is it? Yeah, then why is he blowing out of order? You're right.
Yeah. And also, I don't know why all the Shmoyim Baal Tokeh Acher. Why does he need another Baal Tokeh? Because I guess it could be that the first Baal Tokeh doesn't want to blow unless he's going to blow with the brachas. I don't know. I'm not. I don't know. I don't know what the situation is here.
Okay.
It's a
Maybe
little
he's got a
vague.
choice, Rabbi. Maybe he's got a choice. He's got a Baal Tokea. He can who can do it. He can say the bracha and blow 9 times, or he can rush into the hospital shul where they're in the middle of the service, and he can hear 30 in the same amount of time. Maybe that's his choice.
The point is that in the congregation you're only going to have you're going to have the 30 at the beginning, which will be with the brachas, and then during the musaf, it depends on which kind of a custom that he might be involved with over there. But in general, we do tashrat and tashat tarat, and that's a set of 10, and we do that set of 10 3 times to give in the repetition of the musaf. We do that 3 times to give you the 30 koilos during musaf. Then at the end of the davening, you have another 30 koilos. But okay, suffice it to say, that's basically his. He has a choice of the brachas with tashrat 3 times, or he has no brachas and just tashrat, tashat, tarat. Okay.
Aflo yisapik lishmoa gam brachos ma yaaseh. Even if it's not sufficient.
However, there's not sufficient time. He's not able to listen also to the brachas. And he'll hear the lamed koilos, tashat, tarat, tashat, tarat, but he won't hear the brachas. Ma yasa, what should he do?
What should he do? Okay. Teshuva, the answer. Nichlaku ha-poskim bitam shetokia lamed kolos. There's a disagreement among the sages about the reason for the 30 the 30 blasts.
Right. There's a discussion, a dispute amongst the poskim as to the reason why we blow the 30 blasts of the shofar.
Ah, Timavo are the
Base
Beis
Yosef.
Yosef.
Okay.
That it's stated by the Beis Yosef. Rabbeinu Hai Gaon. Rabbeinu Hai Gaon. Sovar thinks Shebechol Hakolos, that with all of the blasts, Yotzim
Yedei
Yud Dalet.
Chavasai.
What?
Yedei Chavasai. With any of the sounds that are blown, you're Yotzi, your obligation. Yedei Chavasai. You fulfill your obligation.
With any of them?
Yeah. With any sound, according to Rav Chai Gaon, with any sounds that are blown, you are fulfilling your obligation.
Even if they're not the ones that we're used to hearing, just for any sound at all.
Okay, well, there's limitations to this, but he's not going into details about that. Yeah, let's say within the realm of what we're used to hearing.
Okay.
Meaning the basic question is it the shvarim or is it the trua or is it the combination shvarim trua? So the basic question is it enough to hear just shvarim and your yotzi, just trua your yotzi, or hearing just shvarim trua and your yotzi? And again, in all cases, generally speaking, you have to have a tekiah before and then afterwards. But the middle section, that's according to Rav Chai Gaon, any one of those three sounds that you'd hear, you'll be yotzi.
Ella shetiku chetiknu tikna shehiyu kol Yisrael osim maaseh echad. But with the blast of the sound, that it is every Jew.
Ella shetiknu, they established, meaning Chazal established to kana a regulation that each Jew ose maisa echad. That Kol Yisrael, all the Jews ose maisa echad.
They established a regulation that all the Jews are doing one action.
Right, they're all doing the same thing, right? Meaning, according to Rav Chai Gaon, really, shvarim would be, you could be yotzi with shvarim, or you could be yotzi with trua, or you could be yotzi with shvarim and trua. However, there was a decree that was established to make a regulation that they want the whole Jewish people doing everything together in the same way. So therefore, they enacted that you should do the Tashrat, Tarat, and Tashat. But really, any one of the three sounds, midaraisa, you are fulfilling your obligation.
Aval Harambam Cholek Visovar She Hatam Shetiknu Lamed Kolos. But the Rambam went and thought.
No, he disagrees. The Rambam Choylek, he disagrees and is of the opinion.
He disagrees. And his opinion is that the reason that we blow the 30 blasts that we need to blow the 30 blasts?
Yes, meaning they made it to color. The reason why they made the regulation to blow 30 blasts.
To blow
Why?
30 blasts. Who mipnei sheyesh safek be'ikar hadin. It is because there is a doubt as to what is the essential nature of the law.
Right. So on one hand, you have Rabbeinu Chaygon. It says any one of the sounds, either shvarim by itself or trua by itself or shvarim trua by itself. But of course, being with a tekiah before and a tekiah after, and any one of those sounds by themselves, you're yotzi deraisa. Now, in contrast, however, the Rambam argues and says no. The actual obligation is there's a doubt to what the exact obligation is.
Yes, sheyesh safek be'trua ha he.
Hey,
Heich he. What's heich?
hey, what?
How is it?
Yeah, how is it right?
What is hechi? What is the trua? That's the suffix. Suffix, what a trua is.
Right.
What is it?
There is a suffix about a trua. How
What it
is it?
What it is, right?
Exactly what is the sound that a trua is?
Exactly.
Right.
Aim Cain, therefore, kedai le
Kedei.
kedai lehis talak min hasafek tiknu lamed kolos. Therefore,
In order, today, in order
to lehis talak, I don't know.
to remove the doubt, in order to remove the doubt.
To remove the doubt, blow 30 blasts.
Right. So the according to the Rambam, the 30 blasts are in order to quell all doubts as to what the true sound of the trua is.
So one opinion says it doesn't matter. You just got to hear one blast. And the other opinion is we don't know exactly what that blast sounds like, so you got to hear 30 in order to be sure you got the right sound.
Right. Exactly.
V'hinei l'shitas harambam l'ka'ora ein safek be'einenu. And behold, the view of the Rambam it reveals that there is not a doubt between them.
Well, in our topic, in our discussion, because of all this, according to the opinion of the Rambam, it seems ain't suffix b'inyanenu. There's no doubt about what to do in our case. Again, remember our case is to hear 30 blasts without the brachas, or only to hear tashrat, right, with the brachas. So according to the Rambam, who holds the 30, the set of 30 that we hear was instituted to
Remove the
withdraw
doubt.
us from any doubt whatsoever as to being Yotzi, right? So therefore, according to the Rambam, there's no question about what should be done with this document.
Is it the idea of hearing the shofar, is that a mitzvah? Is
Yes,
that a
that's-
minhag or a mitzvah?
No, hearing the shofar is a mitzvah d'oraisa. That is the mitzvah.
It's a mitzvah, right? Okay, so it's a mitzvah derisa. So the problem is, how do you fulfill it?
Correct.
Yeah, meaning what do you have to listen to? I mean, you can. Someone showed me a video yesterday that someone was he was blowing a shofar to a tune of a popular tune. I used to know also Mordechai Delinsky was a very Zechon Baruch. He was the mishkiach here in Torah Or, and it was a tremendous baltakia. He used to be able to play nigunim songs on with the shofar. So there are a lot of sounds you can make with the shofar, right? But the question is, what when the Torah says trua, you have to hear a trua. So the question is, what exactly is this sound of trua that we're supposed to listen to? So that the Torah doesn't go into actual description of what that is. So therefore, we have the Gemara, we have the Rishonim, and therefore there's discussion and dispute about exactly what we're supposed to listen to.
If in many villages in Russia, they didn't have equipment and etc. So if they had a person who had a chauffeur and he didn't know how to blow, he just knew how to get a sound out of it, just a sound. So if he blew that chauffeur for the kahila, just one continuous sound, or maybe he could make two sounds. Is the community Yotze?
There's a strong point of view to say not, because Chazal have told us what we have to do to be Yotze, right? They've told us exactly what we have to do, and anything less than that is not going to be fitting the bill.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay, I hear. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Because they were, I mean, what these little villages in Russia, they didn't have Lulavim, they didn't have Esrogim, they didn't have I mean, but how can we say, well, they're not Yotze? I mean, they're doing the best they can. So,
in terms of lulav, the halacha is that, let's say you don't have a lulav, right? So the question is, can you take a broomstick instead? Tie some hadassim and rubbers to a broomstick, and make believe that it's a lulav, right?
Mm.
So or more classically, which in the Shulchan Aruch it's mentioned. Let's say you have a dry lulav; it's completely dry, right? So in general, dry lulav is possible. It's not kosher, depending how exactly how dry it is. But the minhag was, since it was very hard to get such species of plant life, and especially in those higher Ukrainian villages and such. So they would keep a lulav from year to year, and the question was whether they should use it at all, right? That at least they shouldn't forget that there's such a mitzvah of lulav. They certainly wouldn't make a bracha on it, right? But maybe as we get closer to Sukkot, we can look at some of those halachas also about what they did under those extremely difficult conditions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The cook in the Philly yeshiva told me that all they ever had to eat was potatoes, because it grew in the ground. Nothing could grow above it. It was so cold. All they had to eat for years. And her children told me when they came, they told me that that's all they had was potatoes.
That's right.
That was it. That's all they had was potatoes. And one of the children told me that when all the family gets together for a simcha, they all want potatoes. Amazing.
Yeah, right.
It's just amazing.
Yeah. We're very fortunate, very lucky.
Yeah.
Very fortunate. Okay, let's continue on a bit.
Vadai adif lishmoa es kol hakolos. that certainly, it's
Preferable. Idif is preferable.
preferable to hear all the blasts.
Right.
Im lo kain yitakain shalo kayem mitzvos to ki us shofar. That if not so, what is
It's possible. In Lokin, if not so, it's possible.
possible that he will not be fulfilling the mitzvah of the blowing of the shofar.
Right.
Uve vadai
Right.
she'adif lishmoa kol shofar kedin. And it is certainly preferable to hear the sound of the shofar according to the law. May asher lishmoa safek kol shofar im habracha. That to hear a doubtful sound of the shofar with a blessing, ukamo she mivoar b'gemara she afilu safek doraisa. It's like that he is
In Mevura B'Gemara, that is explained in the Gemara. It's similar to that which is explained in the Gemara.
it's like that which is explained in the Gemara, that even a doubt concerning a derisa, a dif, is preferable al vadai de rabbanan. It's more preferable than the certainty of a rabbinic. It's better to do a derisa in a doubtful way than it is to do a rabbanan in a certain way, in a way you're sure of.
Right. So if a person has, for example, an opportunity to do a derisa, and it's only a suffix as to whether he'll be fulfilling his obligation, as opposed to a mitzvah derabbanan, definitely he should do the suffix derisa and forfeit the definite derabbanan.
So the suffix derisa is that we're not sure of the sound. What's the vadai rabbanan here?
The brachas.
Yeah, the bracha is the rabbanan, right?
You get to the mitzvah whether or not you make the bracha on it.
Right.
But I thought we said that according to the Rambam, if he hears the 30, it's no longer a suffix.
Right. So that's the point. I mean, because that's the shafilu. That right? Shafilu. Meaning even if it's a suffix deriser, you should do that rather than a vadai derabbanan. In our case, it'll be a vadai deriser.
Versus a vadai derabbanan.
So it's a kol v'chomer.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay, so
it means if you have a suffix, then you don't make the bracha. That's the bottom line.
Well, the question is, what's the situation? In this case, it's a suffix, right? That you'll only hear the tashrats. You'll hear you'll hear the excuse me, you'll hear the 30 kailai. In our case here, you're gonna hear the 30 kailai. Right? So the 30 kailai, according to the Rambam, is a suffix. Right? That's a suffix. So he's proving the point that even if it were, even in a case where it's a suffix, it's still better that than a vadai d'Rabbanan.
But the opinion that says that any sound you hear, your yotze deraisa on the blowing, that according to that opinion, you would want to hear the bracha also.
You will, well, again, we're right at this point. We're just following suit through the shita, the opinion of the Rambam right now. We're not dealing with that other opinion. According to the Rambam, there's no question what he should do. He should hear the 30 kailos without the bracha, and that's it. The question is not a question at all. Right? He hasn't built the case for the other opinion yet.
Right. Okay. Ma sheyesh le'in l'shitas Rav Hai Gaon. What is it that there is the law according to the view of Rav Hai Gaon?
Right, meaning in what there is to question and to decide, right, is in the shita of Rav Hai Gaon. That's the question that has to be decided over here.
Right, because he says that any sound is going to be sufficient. So he says that if you say the brachas and you blow the 9 blasts, then your yotze, both the deraisa and the rabbana.
Right.
I don't know this abbreviation.
That Amru Chazal, that Chazal said. No, I'm sorry. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Shesvir Lei. And Rav Hai Gaon is of the opinion, Shesvir Lei, that he is of the opinion.
Mi as tishras who
Tashrat. Tashrat. That in the hearing of the Tashrat.
And the hearing of the Tashrat, who vadai kayem es hamitzvah, he certainly fills the mitzvah deraisa. Ella, but sheyesh tiknu midirabanan. But there is to blow according to the rabbis. Lishmoa, to hear gam tisas v'tarat.
Tashat and Tashrat.
Say it again.
That he should hear. They made it to Kana. They made a regulation according to the rabbis, rabbinical regulation, lishmoya, to listen to also the tashat and tarat. The
Tashat and tarat.
Right.
Tashat and tarat. Okay, so that's in addition to the tishras.
Tashrat. They're getting to the tashrat. In addition to the tashrat, which according to Rav Hai Gaon, if you hear Tashrat, you're Yotzi Doraisa. And in addition, the rabbinically, they added on listening to Tashat and Tarat.
So you can be Yotze, the Doraisa, according to this opinion, with this just the Tashrat.
Exactly, correct.
But you want to also be Yotze the Rabbanan. by hearing the other two.
Right.
The midach,
Now, me'idach, on the other hand,
meidach. On
On
the
the
other
other hand.
hand, yesh gam din midrabanan ledavar the varach lifnei hatikios. On the other hand, there is also a law, a rabbinic law, to bless on account of the blowing.
right, to make it, there is another regulation according to and there's another rabbinical regulation to make a bracha before the tekiyas. So what you now have here is you have, according to Rav Haigon, you listen to Tashrat, right? And then listening to the other two sets, the Tashat and Tarat is a rabbinical regulation. And on the other hand, you also have another rabbinical regulation of listening to the brachas. So the question is, which of these two rabbinical regulations are you obligated to fulfill when you only can fulfill one of them?
Yesh le
But you can only make the bracha when you know that you're yotze. So what's the shaila about the bracha?
Oh, so well, okay. So what you raised just now, Barry, is a strong point. There are those. I'll have to see if he mentions it further on as we get further into the tshuva, that there are those opinions that you never make a bracha on shofar unless you're going to do the full 30 koilos, because that's what the law is according to us. The law is you have to make 30 koilos.
Right.
Right? Could be very well that you yotzi deraisa with just the tashrat, like Rav Chaigon holds, but to say the bracha, right? You can't say, and there are opinions that hold that way, that you're not to make the bracha unless you know you're going to blow 30 koilos. But he hasn't introduced that point yet. At this point, he hasn't introduced that.
But and anyway, it's rabbanan anyway, the brachas.
Yes, that's
So
true.
yeah, okay, so
He's also there's also a he's going to introduce an opinion of the Ritva, if I'm not mistaken. This next paragraph, he's going to introduce the opinion of the Ritva that really all brachas are really part of the mitzvah. But that's we'll see how he introduces that point into the
okay.
tshuva. Hold on.
meaning that the bracha becomes deraisa, you're saying?
Well, exactly what it becomes, we'll have to try and understand. Yeah. Yesh this topic. So in this case, yesh this topic, there is to be in doubt.
There is to be in doubt. Es eza mitzvah midraban yesh le ha'adif. Concerning which rabbinic mitzvah is preferable,
Right.
the saying the bracha or saying the additional doing the additional blowings.
Right.
Im es habracha lifnei hamitzvah, that if it is the blessing before the mitzvah, es kol hatzidadim shel kol hakolos, or all the hatzadim. What is hitzadim?
All the possibilities.
All the possibilities of all of the blowings.
Right. So that's the question. In the Shita of Rav Chaigon, the question is, you have two mitzvahs to rabbanan. The bracha is a rabbinical regulation, and hearing the tashat and the tarat is a rabbinical regulation. And the question is, which of these two mitzvahs should be given preference to do when you only can do one of the two?
Right.
Okay. All right. So I guess it's a good time to stop here now. And We'll continue with this tomorrow, Mitzvah Shem.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Okay, Roy.